Well, this video will probably be a little shorter than normal. I'm sure, and I know you're upset. You're deeply concerned that this is going to be a short video, and you're dying for it to be a long-winded Jason It 4 talking for days. So I apologize that you don't get that. You're going to get a little shorty today. Shorty. But it's kind of a sad video. You know, you look back at certain cities in America that were once thriving and they had a great history, and then something happened and it's cities rotting and housing's rotting and there's an epidemic of something. Like, what is happening? That city for today, which I could pick quite a few, sadly, but today is Baltimore. Who would have thought? You know, Baltimore. The economiccollapseblog.com, Michael Snyder, has an interesting article attached with a 5-minute, 27-second video someone else put up that he linked. That's great. It's a little drive-through of Baltimore in the, what you could call the destruction of America slowly. You know, it's remember the movie The Never-Ending Story, and the nothing, the big clouds just come and eat up everything, and nothing, you know, the nothing. It's kind of what some of these cities are. The nothing is coming by and they're just destroying what was once beautiful. So yes, I always put the links on these videos, so do go check this link out and check the video out especially. It's a YouTube link. The link I'm going to give you is to his Economic Collapse blog, but inside there you'll be able to click play and watch a nice video. Nicely done video, I should say. The content isn't very nice. It's sad to see this, but again, you got to report what's happening. That's what I got to do it. Baltimore has become a rotting, decaying war zone as a raging opioid epidemic eats away at the city like cancer. And when I think of this whole, and there's an epidemic in Florida. Matter of fact, there's an epidemic almost everywhere with this opioid crap. However, what makes people most of the time, not always, most of the time, why are people getting on drugs, doing drugs, wanting to stay on them, and it takes them out of this reality, all their problems, the bills I can't pay, my horrible job situation, I'm only working part-time, I've got kids to feed, I can escape and go to this wonderful unicorn land. And these opioids are so powerful, they can kill you quickly. They make other drugs look like child's play, apparently. It's the new thing. So if anyone out there who's even thinking of doing one of these, don't touch it. You're done if you do. Trust me. You don't want no part of this. But my point was, we have a problem in America. And when people have problems, just like the Great Depression, where do they go? Drugs and alcohol. Happened then too. But we're not in a depression. What are you talking about? Everything's fine. It might be fine for you and me at the moment, but there's a whole lot of people it's not fine for, which is why this isn't shocking to me. It is hard to believe that Baltimore was once one of the greatest cities in the entire world. Unlike nearby Washington, D.C., Baltimore is a blue-collar city that is home to some of the hardest working people in America. When I was in high school, my brother and I were huge fans of the Baltimore Orioles. And once in a while, our parents would drive us from our home in Virginia all the way up to Baltimore to see them play. As an adult, I spent a number of years living near D.C., and I would take frequent trips up to Baltimore. To say that the city is in a state of decline would be a major understatement. Everywhere you look, there are abandoned buildings and homes, and as you drive through some of the worst areas, you can actually see drug addicts just lying in the streets. Just like so many other communities all over this country, decades of liberal policies have taken a brutal toll, and now the city is just a rotting, decaying shell of the glorious metropolis that it once was. There are some sections of Baltimore that you simply do not go into once the sun goes down. This sounds like literally a movie with the apocalyptic zombie, the zombie apocalypse scene. Was that one with Will Smith and, his dog? Anyways, and actually it isn't a very good idea to go into those areas during the day either. The crime in the city has gotten so bad that authorities have actually formally requested help from the federal government. According to the Baltimore Sun newspaper, the city has logged in 118 homicides today. Today. With a projection of greater than 400 murders for year's end. It's so bad here that Baltimore's mayor has asked the federal government for help in an attempt to regain control. Even the police union sounds the alarm of an officer shortage, leading to decreases in patrols. All of this is occurring as the Baltimore population declines, nearing a 100-year low, U.S. Census says. Through the end of April, Baltimore was on pace for the highest murder rate in the history of the city. Yes, you read that correctly. Or maybe I read it to you correctly. The primary factor fueling all of this violence is an opioid epidemic that is completely and totally out of control. And again, this isn't just Baltimore. I keep hearing it on the news as I drive to work in Florida. And I know it's in other parts of the country as well. As a matter of fact, just for fun, not including Florida because I already know it's here, and not including Baltimore, or the state anyways, anywhere else in this country, hell, even if you're in Australia or the UK, anywhere over there, and you say, oh, that's happening here too, just put out a little comment. I live in such and such, city and state or whatever, country, city, state, if you're not in America. Opioid pandemic, it's happening here too. I'm just curious. Put a little comment in there if you don't mind. The opioid epidemic is the quiet killer that has been leaving a trail of bodies on the streets of Baltimore. The individuals that are putting these drugs on our street, they're killing people on our street, said Deputy Commissioner Dean Palmer of the Baltimore Police Department. Drug overdoses are expected to have killed 2,000 people statewide in 2016, and more than 800 in Baltimore alone. There are more people dying from overdose here in Baltimore City than there are dying of homicide, said Baltimore City Health Commissioner Dr. Leanna Wen back in February. That last paragraph amazed me when I first read it. Even though Baltimore is on pace for the highest murder rate in the city's history, more people are actually dying from drug overdoses. And now police in the city are warning of a new opioid that is reportedly 100 times more potent than heroin. It is called carfentanil, and it can kill people almost instantly. I would like to share with you a short YouTube film put out by Alistair Williamson just a few days ago entitled The Baltimore Experience. No matter how much I write, I could never communicate the devastation in the city quite like this little video does. Did you see that part near the end where Williamson stops to offer a bottle of water to a man that's just lying in the street? Hopefully that particular man is not on anything, but it's quite common to see people lying around like zombies in cities where an opioid epidemic is raging. These are very cruel drugs, and they will utterly consume you if you allow them to. The more drugs that come in, the worse the violence gets. And within the past 24 hours, we have seen 4 more senseless murders in Baltimore. Of course, Baltimore is far from alone. On Monday, I wrote about how Chicago is becoming a gang-infested wasteland. And on Tuesday, we got news of Chicago's 200th homicide so far in 2017. And an official bulletin went out to all members of the Chicago police on Monday, warning them about high-powered weapons that gangs are now using to kill people, including shooting at police. Sometimes it's hard to believe that this is still America. Now, I got to stop for a second. Lindsey Williams I just channeled his thoughts right into my mind. He was told years ago. Remember when he said this? In just a few years, you won't recognize America. He was told that by his elite friend. In just a few years from now, you won't recognize America. I think we're there. It's going to get a whole lot worse, but I think we're there now. With everything that's happening, LGBTQ, transgender things, these fights they're having in the liberal colleges against Trump supporters and all this insanity you hear on the news and this stuff, opioid pandemic. Crap. I think I'm going to bring all my kids down here and watch this 5-minute clip as a lesson that no matter whoever comes to you, tries to get you to do drugs or anything bad, you get the hell away from them unless you want to end up like this. I think that's what I'm fixing to do right now, as a matter of fact. Take care.